What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today we're going over Digital Daily number 29, and oh boy, there's a lot to digest here. The library secret has been revealed. The motions are in play for the fatal feast. Let's kind of break down what happened because there's a lot, and I don't know 100% how I feel about how it all played out. So let's start with what we know. Daniel went into the library first. He was followed in by Anika and then Hope third. I assume that was the order. Hope then was barricading the door and kind of holding everyone else out of the library with the puzzle pieces that were going on. They said that books started to get pushed off the shelves and lights were flickering and it was kind of crazy in there. Eventually, they say Ty pushed his way into the room and kind of forced himself in there. We don't know 100% how true that is. Hope might have let him in, but we don't know. Then Santina was let into the room. That left Kuzi and the Girly Pops out of the room. They went and got her and were like, oh, we're the only ones out of there. Kuzi was then let in. So the Girly Pops were the only ones not allowed into the library because it was continued to be barricaded of the door by Hope. We know that there were puzzle pieces kind of from pages of the books. I assume they were pages from the books because when we finally did see the puzzle kind of on the table, it was all just pages with different writings and symbols and stuff on it. And eventually that led to Daniel getting the letter. They said that they kind of came to a decision. They were like, listen, we'll all just let Daniel get whatever this is, if it's a power of some sort. It turns out it wasn't really a power. It was just getting the letter. And then that was revealing that there would be the feast tonight, the fatal feast. So after today, I don't know if we're going to get many more dailies. I think on Monday, we probably won't get a digital daily just because it would reveal whatever happened at the feast. And then Tuesday is when we'll see all of this play out. And I'll tell you what, Tuesday is going to be an incredible episode of Big Brother. It's going to be one you do not want to miss. So let's kind of go over what we then saw on the daily, because that's all just info we were kind of able to piece together from what happened. We started with a very awkward start. It was just the Girly Pops like outside in the living room. Claudia was kind of up on the upper level, kind of looking down. They all were seemingly in shock. At least that was the initial look and feel that I was getting from them, where they were just like kind of shaking their head, like they couldn't believe what was going on. Claudia even says like, well, they have to be done there pretty soon. Like all 6 of them are in there searching through the books. Nene, this is one of those things where Nene kind of made one of those jokes, like, you know, like a coping joke where you make a joke because like you're very upset, but it will help you a little bit. She says that her counselor's going to be watching and says, oh boy, I can't wait to talk about this one. Claudia is like, I'm just mad. Like she's mad that this is happening. And then there was also a quote. She was like, are you alone? Like I couldn't believe that or something. So I don't know what that was exactly, but that was something that she said that I definitely like took note of because it seemed like it was important, but how it was important, I don't know. Claudia then makes a really good point, right? Like if the Girly Pops are on the outs because John went up and went home, who were the ones to vote to keep him? Huh? She also says, like, Hope is there barricading the door. How would John feel about him barricading the door to 3 girls on the outside? And I gotta admit, if John was there, John would not be happy with this, I don't think. John would be like, listen, let's just open the door. Hope was full on holding that door closed. I can tell you, John, I don't think would have it in him to barricade them out like that. And then they say something else that was kind of funny too. Like Ty was upset about the whole letter with Hope and how that was kind of a dirty play. But now as soon as he gets a chance to play a little dirty, he takes it. Now, I don't think the letter and holding the door are on the same level, right? The letter is still something I believe was an illegal item that should not have been allowed in the house. Nobody else had the opportunity to bring something like that into the house, and nobody else had an opportunity to be sent something like that in the house. Unless you won HOH, you would get a letter, obviously. So I felt like that was something that was on like a different level of this. This is maybe like dirty and kind of messed up, but it doesn't seem like it's against the rules, right? Like barricading the door, especially when it's just like 3 girls on the outside and everyone else is on the inside, just feels like kind of a messed up thing to do. It feels very childish. Like, yes, you're playing a game and they didn't know exactly what was going to come of this puzzle that they were kind of putting together. They didn't know if it was safety, but if you've already kind of agreed, like, hey, Daniel's going to get this, you could very easily say through the door, listen, girls, we don't want to hold you out there like this, but like, if you agree that we've all agreed that Daniel gets this, if you agree to that, like, you guys can come in as well and see what's going on so you don't feel left out. It wouldn't have been very hard for them to do that, and they didn't. Renee made a really good joke, and I wish she would have done it. She said she was really thinking about pouring oil underneath the door, and she should have, right? Like, if they are barricading the door, full reign, go get a bottle of cooking oil, squirt that underneath it, make him slip and slide so he can't hold that door open, and the 3 of you just go charging at it and knock that thing down. Like, go for it. They should have done it. But at that point, they were so upset by the idea that they were doing this to them that they just didn't really care anymore. They were so defeated. Apparently, at one point, the 3 of them were pushing hard against the door, but were only able to move it so small. Hope is a very muscular man, and the 3 of them I don't think would have been able to do much against them. Kuzi apparently like popped her head out and then closed the door again. So like that's another spot too where like Kuzi could have popped her head out and said like, hey, do you guys want to come in if you agree that Daniel gets it? Like, we don't want to hold you guys out here anymore. But this was all very deliberate for them to keep them out because they didn't want them to get a chance to get any kind of safety. Meanwhile, they're letting Ty and Santina in, who Kuzi and the Crown were just talking about nominating. So none of it really makes sense, like, at all. I don't understand what's going on with that. Eventually, like, a lot of time passes. Like, the first hour of the dailies was all just the girls outside alone, kind of wondering what's happening. And eventually, Kuzi comes out to try and get them. They pretty much want none of it. Like, they're basically calling them out, saying, like, how messed up this was, and, like, how would you guys feel if you were the ones being out there? Kuzi tries to say, like, oh, I know, no one told me, but they literally let you in, Kuzi. Like, they weren't allowed in, but you were. There was a very short clip of Nene kind of calling them out, saying, like, if this was a party, why weren't we allowed in? Like, what was going on? That's when we got kind of the view of the puzzle pieces, because they were kind of all on the table, and then we had Claudia and Hope in there. Hope was very upset. And Claudia apologizes to him, saying she was sorry that she brought John into this. And it's like, no, you were being locked out of a room by Hope. Don't apologize to him. And he was very upset. He then tries to blame it on Anika, that Anika was telling him to lock the door and keep everybody out. And he says, like, he just should have let them in. But yeah, it was quite a thing. Daniel, Anika, and Kuzi then try to explain to the girls what was happening, what went on inside. This is where they kind of talked about the books being pushed off the shelves. Apparently there were like holes that production was like pushing. They were manually pushing the books out of the shelves. Daniel was able to grab the letter, and they say that there's going to be the party tonight. There's going to be like a dinner bell that rings, and that's the clue for all of them to go to the feast. In the letter, it says, we didn't get the full quote of it, but it said something along the lines of, enjoy the feast. The bigger the feast, the higher the cost. Apparently Ty was suggesting that, like, oh, something about like eating the food is going to, have some kind of effect or something along those lines. We don't know 100% for sure. We didn't get a lot of information from that, but yeah, it was a thing. after they were kind of explaining this and the girls were kind of telling them like how they felt like being left out and secluded like this, Santina ends up coming in and saying like, oh, hey, I just wanted to come and see if you guys were okay. And Renee's like, is that a joke? Like, what do you think? Like, do you really think we're okay? Like, of course we're not okay. While they're having this back and forth, Nene gets very upset and just has to leave. She was crying. Daniel and Claudia kind of follow her, and then Renee kind of continues to stand up for the idea that she was like, this was really messed up. The idea that you guys were barricading the door, letting other people in. How would you guys feel if you were the ones left out of this? Especially after following what just happened with last week with them trying to get Nene not to use the veto on Renee. How this would make them feel. Like, is there just some big 6-person alliance they're not a part of? Is that what's going on? You would have to imagine that, yeah, they would all be working together. If I was on the outside and there were 6 people holding the door, I would then think, oh yeah, all 6 of them are in an alliance, right? Like that would be 100% my conclusion. So they tried to say like, oh, you know, Ty pushed himself in there, and then Kuzi was letting, she was the HOH, and if she got the power, it wouldn't matter. Of course it would matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? If she got the power, she gets the power. Like, simple as that. Their whole reasoning behind it was such like gaslighting. Honestly, to be completely honest, it felt like everything that they say Ty does, right? Like, there's lots of people who say like, oh, Ty's a gaslighter, Ty does this. That's all fair, right? Like, you are allowed to gaslight inside the Big Brother house. In fact, they will give you the matches to do it. But also, if you're going to be very upset that like Ty was doing that kind of thing, Kuzi was doing it just as much. Kuzi, Anika, Daniel, they're all involved in this just as much as anything Ty has done this season. Eventually, we do get conversations with Kuzi and Renee. Really kind of the same thing, trying to explain, you know, what happened and her side of it and, you know, what was really going on. Kuzi tries to say like, oh, I've shown you like, you know, so much that like I'm not going against you, but you won't believe in me. Basically saying like, oh, you should have just stayed on the block and trusted me. Like, they're like, why do you doubt me? And it was kind of the same thing she was saying to Santina last week, where not last week, but in yesterday's daily, where she's like, oh, you know, you just don't trust me for some reason. And it's like, no, you can't just be like, you don't trust me for things that should be untrustworthy, right? Like, you're not 100% doing that. You're trying to get her to stay on the block and for her friends not to use it by saying she's the invisible HOH. Those are all reasons why Nene and the girls should not trust Kuzi right now. It was really kind of wild to see Kuzi try and stand on that point, because it really wasn't making much sense, and I don't think Renee was buying it too much. They do try and say like, hey, we can work together, try and make something happen, but I don't think it's really gonna work. We then also got Kuzi and Claudia have a very, very similar conversation where she was trying to say like, I don't know why you guys, you know, aren't trusting in me. I've shown you nothing but that you guys can trust me, so there's no reason to doubt me, but there's plenty of reasons to doubt her. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very good episode on Tuesday. I'm really excited for it. What do you guys think? Do you think it was all fair game to block the door? Do you think they should have let him in once everybody else was in there too? Do you think this will completely change what Kuzi's HOH is going to be? We assume someone is going to be evicted on Tuesday. That's what it all seemed like. So is Kuzi fair game to be evicted on Tuesday because she's HOH? Is she not fair game to be evicted? How will this affect her nominations on Thursday? We still have so many questions on what will be taking place this week, but I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how this all plays out. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Also, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. Especially if you made it all the way to the end of this, smash that like button down there. Hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. All the links to my socials are in the description down below and a pinned comment as well. You can check out my Twitch, my Twitter, my Discord, the new kick streams. Go check out the kick streams. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If we get more dailies, which I kind of doubt that we will, I will update you guys on that. But we will definitely be here with a recap of Tuesday's episode as soon as possible as well. And I will see you all next time.